Happy New Year, Aquarius. Let's have a look at your astrology and tarot for 2023. So we're going to start with the astrology and starting with the outer planets because we're looking at the whole year. So Jupiter is sitting in your third sector. Now your third sector is all about your communicational skills. It's also about your siblings, brothers, sisters, and also can relate to your soul family, soul sisters and brothers. So with Jupiter there, this is a time when, it's going to be very good time to be connecting up with family and a great time to be, expressing who you truly are and communicating with others. Jupiter, there may be some really good ideas going on around, family, brothers and sisters and what you can do together. By the 17th of May, Jupiter moves into the fourth sector. Your fourth sector is about your home. So this is a great time for you to be thinking about how you can expand move more forward or create growth in the home situation. So, you may be wanting to literally expand the home, renovate, or you may be looking at purchasing property. It's not so much about, the fourth sector isn't so much about your assets, it's more about your home that you live in. It's where you establish yourself, where you feel safe, as in your safe haven, your space of love, if you like, your home. With Jupiter there, it sort of means, this is a good time to be socializing in the home situation, but also, where you're thinking about how you can make the home work for you more, or how you can do home improvements, or even be looking at purchasing property to be living in for yourself. So that's a really nice placement, and you've got a few things going on in the fourth, so we'll get to that, but I'll explain that. Saturn is sitting in your first house. Now that's sort of been a bit of a hard time for you with Saturn there, because it sort of means that for some people it will be not so hard, because Saturn might be quite a natural thing, being an Aquarian. It was traditionally ruled by Saturn, but for others you might feel like you've been a bit isolated, you haven't been feeling that social. Your first sector, your first placement is all about your environment, your immediate environment. It's also about your personality. So you may have found while Saturn has been going through the first, as you're nearly at the end of that, that you've taken on more responsibility in your environments. Could be your working environment or home environment, but you also find that you've been you're probably coming across as quite a tough or hard sort of energy with Saturn there, because again this is how you present yourself to the world. Or it may be that you just prefer your own space and your own company. And if you're wondering why you just want to be left alone in the workplace, especially if you've got more responsibility to with this position there, that's why Saturn there. Now, by the 8th of March, it moves out of your first sector and into your second. So that sort of moves it more away from your outer environment, or from your your immediate environment, into your placement of finances and assets. And so as it moves by March into that point, you're going to be thinking quite seriously about your security, your assets and finances. You may be thinking about making a commitment there relative to taking on mortgages, or purchasing a bit more for yourself as an assets. It could be anything. It doesn't necessarily need to be property, but generally it does relate to property or business in that sense of commercial property. So with it in that second, there may be a few difficulties around assets, but also you will be looking at how you can make things work. And with assets, especially with property, it's a very Saturnine energy, because it's about purchasing the property, and over time you will sort of be rewarded for that. You're not going to pay your mortgage off, but you will there will be inflation and an increase in what you own. So it's very much got that Saturn nature. So Saturn doesn't mind being in the second house too much, especially really good for creating security for the future. But while it's travelling through there, you can feel a bit limited in what you can access at a financial level. Uranus is sitting in the 4th sector, and Uranus, I should say, is sitting in the 4th sector, and it's just like, you know, Jupiter moving in there on the 5th and on the 17th of May. So with Uranus in that placement, it means that things have been a bit restless around the home situation at times, or you know, you may have sudden sort of ideas or inspiration to create new things around your home environment. Now, it's because it's you know, it's an outer planet, it's really slow moving, it's going to be more triggered at certain times. And I think when Jupiter joins in and to connect with that, this is sort of more when you know, you're going to come up with some really ingenious ideas on what you're wanting to do around property, around the home. So you've got the moon's node, which is relative to your associations and connections. It can be anything from your partner to your work associates to your family. It's sitting in your 4th sector. So again, you know, you've got Uranus, the node, and then Jupiter all moving into that 4th sector. So the whole emphasis for this year is going to be all about the home and what you can do with it, what you're wanting for that. You know, with Uranus here, like, it's been in the 4th sector for quite a while, and so, you know, you've been very, so I'd say, sort of protective of not having too much disruption around the home, not wanting anything too unsettling around the home. But with the node there, this might be when you're bringing in more people around the home situation, or you know, changes going on around that to do with family. So, in other words, you know, if you're living on your own, you might actually invite others to be living with you, or if you've got family around you in the home, you know, there could be an extension coming in. It's sort of like more cooperative effort around the home situation, around these connections. So we have a Pluto squaring the node in March, and so Pluto's sitting in the 12th sector, and the node is sitting in the 4th, as I said. And, you know, Pluto node is a lot to do with fated connections. It does look like sort of there's a lot here to do with past life karma, with it being Pluto in the 12th house, past life situations, past life karma, past life connections coming into your life around could be any time this year, actually, going to depend on more when things get triggered at a personal level, depending on your chart. But by May, when Jupiter conjuncts the node, this is when it's going to prove to be really, really fortunate. So you've got, you know, in other words, you've got really positive, fortunate connections coming into your environment that are going to be more than coming into your environment, coming into your home space. So, you know, a lot of sort of fate situations around home where you're living through to do with family or to do with you know, connections, and some of them you may not have made. So with Pluto there, sometimes it can feel like we're in a situation where we're feeling forced into a situation that we're not wanting, you know, but with Jupiter there, it's sort of saying, no, this is going to be so much better for you. So you're sort of going to go with the flow with this and just trust the universe is bringing this in for you for a very good reason. Now, it's going to be a very productive year for Aquarius. We have a Jupiter square Mars for the whole of May, and Jupiter is in your 4th sector, and Mars is in your 7th sector when in the second half of May. Before that, it's in your 3rd and your 6th. So while it's in your 3rd and your 6th, this is going to be about communication and work and productive energy. So there's going to be a lot of talk about work and business and ideas, and it could even be, you know, if you're wanting to purchase more property, because the theme is going to be around property, or make changes, it could be happening around that time, because it looks like you've got very positive agreements happening at that time. This is about signed contracts as well. But with Mars Jupiter, this is, you know, taking the action to move forward in a productive way. And when it moves into your 4th and 7th, this is about something you'll be doing with partner. And so this would be an excellent time to be looking at business partnership also would be an excellent time to be looking at establishing so much more security for yourself, again, around your property. But because it's a property that you live in, it would be like moving. If you're going to move from where you are to another place, it would be quite a big leap in what you own and what it's worth. So with being that Jupiter Mars, so this is about productive, very productive energy for the month of May. And like I said, this is with others. There's a lot to do with others relative to May, and the action taken with others. So anyone on their own, this could be a great time to be, you still won't be, I don't think, buying on your own. Again, fated situations around family where you seem to be sharing a lot more than you were before. So looks really good for Aquarius with the astrology. So let's have a look at your tarot, and I'll ask what the universe wants you to know for 2023 for Aquarius. Of course, it had to be a random cut, being Aquarius. Aquarius is traditionally ruled by, Aquarius is esoterically ruled by Jupiter. So, with all this favourable Jupiter going on, excuse me, especially in your, especially in your fourth sector for the second half of this year, I just think, because Aquarians do like to move forward, they do like to have plans, they do like to know where they're going, they like to have a plan for the future. This is going to be, like I said, a very productive year for Jupiter, and wow, certainly is going to be a productive year. The Emperor in the world covering you, and a lot of forward movement happening with the Chariot sitting there at the top. So yeah, year for planning and speculating on your future prospects, where you want to be, again, and how you can create more for yourself. Wow, really good news for Aquarius in the very near future. I'm going to show you these cards because they are quite powerful. So we have the Chariot sitting in the middle, the Ace of Swords, and the Star. So this means a really quick, this means fast action, but it's change is coming in really quickly. Yeah, something coming in that's really good news that you're going to celebrate. That's going to mean changes and move, but it's like what you're wanting. So any Aquarians that are wanting to make a change of property, a change of career, this is a time to manifest it. It's there if you're, it's there for the taking if you want it. If you're happy where you are, well, that's all good too. But, it's really good energy, because it sort of means anything that you're wanting to move forward with, anything that you're wanting to achieve, it's going to come in quite quickly. So very good news around that. Any Aquarians wanting to purchase a better car, awesome time to do that. Do it, around sort of March to May. Actually, you could do it earlier. I would do it sort of February, March, because we've got no retrogrades. In fact, signing documents or moving forward with anything, February, March would be actually perfect timing for anyone, because of the fact that we have no retrograde planets at that time. And then by April, things start to go retrograde again. It doesn't really going to make too much effect unless it's Mercury anyway, but especially when it comes to vehicles, you don't want Mars retrograde, you don't want Mercury retrograde. So yeah, there could be a really flash fast car out there that you're wanting, or you may want some sort of different sort of vehicle. You might want a boat, you might want, the Chariot to me relates to the vehicle, but it's also about like fast movement and also travel. So there could be a trip in February actually. Some of you Aquarians could be traveling around your birthday, so that looks really, really nice. So yes, there's a new level coming in of work for Aquarius. You've come out of a Saturn in the first year, because I've got the Wheel of Fortune here. This is about fate and karma. and making changes and things not sort of in your control. It's like the wheel turns for the better or worse. It's like when the karma comes around. Now that's like having Saturn in your first house, really. It's like, oh, it's been good, it's been bad, it's been great, but I think generally it's been quite positive, because I feel like it's allowed you to have the things more. For the ones that want more responsibility, it's actually allowed you to have that. For those that haven't, and because responsibility can be a big thing for Aquarius, it's like, you're going to be able to achieve more what you're wanting in a way of freedom. So I think that's to do with moving and travel, actually. So those that have gone, no, I don't want responsibility right now, I just want to go and travel and do stuff, feels like that's going to be work out for you as well. But I think once the Saturn goes into that second sector and gets out of your first, that's definitely going to be a lot more of a fun time for you, especially if you're wanting to do more things involving freedom. So there's something unexpected coming up for Aquarius. Uranus in the fourth, possibly, because again, this is to do with where you've come from, what you're wanting to establish, and it's sort of something out of the blue comes in and you go, okay, this is what I want to do. This is, it's relative to where you want to put your energy and your passions, and it could even be about setting up your own business, because again, you've got real forward-moving things. Anything you're wanting to achieve, you're going to get success in. But sort of these cards here indicating that you may not even know what that is, and it's going to come in really quick, but the realization of what it is going to come in, or the opportunity comes in and you go, this is actually perfect for me. So what I'm trying to say there is there's some situations with Aquarius where they haven't planned this. This is just coming at them randomly, but they so recognise that this is right for their soul. So this is part of the good karmic situations that I said are going on. So good situations around your environment with family and friends, and it just feels like it's a really, really social time here. Work is going to be, this year is going to be a lot to do with work, and you're going to be making new connections through your working environments. Things are going to feel more stable if they haven't in the past, but also it's a year of ingenuity. So Aquarian, ruled by Uranus, and Uranus is like that sudden realizations, sudden cognition, sudden understanding that just comes in really quickly, sudden downloads for some that are very spiritually attuned. So it's like that mind can work quite fast. Well, that energy of Uranus was so fast that we need time to absorb the information, to relay it. So it just feels like you're going to be working at quite a speed, which you do normally anyway, but it feels like there's going to be that ingenuity that and good communicational skills is going to be utilised through your career this year. So for some, with some Aquarius here, like I said, this is sort of saying for Aquarius, they like to be in charge of their own experiences, of their own circumstances as well. Sorry, not experiences. They like to be in charge of their own environments. So because you've got the leadership card here, and this is also about, business. You've got the Emperor sitting here, and with the World there, that's when we've come to the end of a cycle, and we can start to reap the rewards for all our hard effort. It's when we can sit back and relax and start to be utilised more for our mind than our physical ability. So in other words, all the knowledge and understanding that we've gained through the years of experience can start to really be of value. And I sort of see this as like when you can be, for the older ones, where you can be in that passive income situation where people just ring you for advice, where, you're not out there, they're doing the hard physical work anymore. So it's the time to reap the rewards. But what seems to be happening here is that Aquarius there might be some circumstances, because some things are sort of thrown at us unexpectedly, where it's like, should I just go into something completely new? Do I want to go in this direction or that direction? So that's going to be a big theme for Aquarius this year. Where do I want to place myself? Now, this is relative to either where you want to live. For some Aquarians, like, I'm talking about country actually. Do I want to live in this country? Do I want to live somewhere else? Or do I want to, go into a whole new career? So, firstly, you've got to reap the rewards for the career you've been in. So you're in that cycle. So make sure you get the benefits of that. But if you want to do something completely new, it's like you could set yourself up to more in an advisory role, especially this is where I'm talking about your communicational skills, in an advisory role, but also where you get the opportunity to spend a lot more time doing the things that you actually are more interested in now at this point in your life. So, it's Aquarius will go through a little stage, I think, work out when, April. I think before we get this May productive energy, so maybe in April, of not knowing what direction to go on. Should I go in this direction, but it feels very unknown to me. I mean, it's something completely different. It's quite random in a way, something so new. Or do I stay, where I've been, but it's looking like, if I stay in that position, then I'm not really going to get the results that I'm wanting, or I'm not really going to get to move forward. So there is a lot questioning your productivity around that time. But by the time you come into May, I said things are just really starting to move forward into a huge productive time. So don't worry about future disappointments, because sort of if you look at your past, all I see is successes. So I don't know where that comes from. Maybe the old Saturnine side of Aquarius, that it's a bit of the doubting Thomas, but just I think and sometimes it comes from our past difficulties or our past experience. So it's saying you can move on and create the world you want to create without guilt, without feeling that you are responsible for everybody else, or or feeling that the people have these expectations of you, because I feel like Aquarians are going to be quite strong in standing up for themselves and what they want. And generally Aquarius is pretty good at that, but they also are, I wouldn't say they're people pleasers. They don't really care what people think, but they don't want to upset anybody. They don't want to offend anyone. And where they feel responsible, they feel like the last thing they can do is abdicate from what they feel are their responsibilities. So what I'm sort of saying is that, you sort of be opening up a new vision for yourself, and just allow yourself to step into the new without feeling, like you've disappointed anyone, or without feeling like you're going to be bringing yourself into a disappointment. So I really feel there's an energy here where Aquarius is needing to really trust what they're getting, trust when I say what they're getting, trust the vision that they can see coming in for themselves, trust their intuition as well, and trust that the universe is bringing them in very positive opportunities, some for changes that they've been wanting for a while, and others for more having the, or getting to the position of where they've wanted to be for a while. So, trusting that this may not have been the direction that you thought you were going in, but you're getting to exactly where you're wanting to be, the way the universe is directing things. So that's where the trust comes into it. So yeah, it's a great year for Aquarius. Like I said, great opportunities and situations, situations that are bringing in more freedom for you. And I think it's setting you up for the following year, where it looks like you're wanting to stimulate yourself more and learn new things. So that's when you find you come out of that cycle. You've reaped the rewards, and now it's like, okay, let's do something completely new now. So that's not for immediately. It's more your plans around how you get to do that, and when the right timing for that is. So I don't really see any difficulties here with Aquarius. Trust in the stepping into the new, even though you're still, in the crossover of the old is in the end of the cycle. I feel like you are going to be strong, and who you are. I mean, you are strong. I mean, don't get me wrong, but I just feel like you're going to be a little bit challenged with some of these ideas or visions or the way your direction's going. And, you know, it's like, I don't think you like those challenge. You like to be challenged in that way. But it's like, no, you're just going to speak your mind and tell them why you're doing what you're doing. And again, if they don't like it, well, that's just too bad. But, you know, these are the things that are close to your heart. These are the things that you really want. And you do recognize that when it comes up. So it looks like a great year for Aquarius, and I hope you enjoyed that, and have a great day. Bye.